right, everybody, it's time to talk to Kerry Cole. Kerry Cole, Miss Kerry Cole.
Hi, Blaine.
I'm muted.
Am I muted?
No, but was I was singing Kerry Cole, Kerry Cole.
I love the painting behind you, Blaine.
Oh, thank you. Do you know the story behind it?
No, I would love to know the story behind it.
I, got an office, so what? And my mom said it was boring to have just this teal wall behind me. So not an artist at all. And my mom painted this. So on a lot of our calls, it's like we talk about what it actually means, because it could be like bacon and eggs, right? Bacon and eggs.
I wasn't getting the bacon and eggs. I wasn't getting that.
But I think it's supposed to be a beach. I'm not sure. My mom literally called me yesterday and she goes, I didn't realize how seeing those pictures would be. And she was embarrassed. And I said, Mom, people have reached out to have you do them. And she was like, no, I won't. But she said, it's supposed to represent your day, start to finish. And I was like, okay, I think we saw breakfast foods. So you must have been.
I mean, I didn't see the bacon. I mean, now I'm seeing bacon and eggs, of course, because you shared that with me, which is kind of.
I love it. Breakfast is my favorite.
Right? Didn't you get excited as a kid when you would have breakfast for dinner?
Oh, yes. And my family, we did pancakes were special things. So my mom only made pancakes when it was special. So I had pancakes on my birthday every year. And still to this day, I have pancakes on my birthday every year. So I just gotta say real quick, because I'm seeing some people, Logan, I see Liz. I'm supposed to say, hey Liz, I like your braids. And Allie, the light that you have on it's like, who is this beautiful, you are so lit up. And then we got Christy outside. Hey, Christy. Chris, what a good background. Clarence, you barbecuing today, Clarence? It's raining here, so we need some barbecue. But hey, everybody, LA's in the car. Alex got his background on. Is that a Chihuahua I see behind your back?
No, that's a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh, it looked like a...
She's far away. Oh, that's funny. Hey.
Yeah,
I love when she attends our meetings.
She is. She's a mortgage expert now.
What's up, everybody? We're on Mission Mentor. I'm in a great mood today. How about y'all? I don't know if you know this, but Kerry Cole and I have known each other now for a year, and we've had a secret love affair with each other.
Making it known to everybody now.
Yeah, we're making it known. So you're gonna see, recently Dolly Parton showed her husband for the very first time in 55 years. And I think that I want that kind of level of secretness when it comes to my relationship, so I can drop it 55 years down the road. Oh yeah, by the way. So Kerry, I got the jump on you. Did you do something to your hair?
If we make it 55 years, we will.
Yeah. So Logan asked the very first question, Kerry, did you do something with your hair? Give him a flip. Yeah, give him a look.
Do you like it, Logan?
He does. Can you see him?
He's thinking about it. He's
great
thinking
job.
about it.
It looks great. Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
We're gonna Fraser said Hudson County got her hair did. Is that
That's
where you
right.
are? What's Hudson County? Tell us.
So Hudson County is the county that I was born in New Jersey. And interestingly enough, Mark Maloney is from the same county that I am.
Oh, really? Is Mark on? So this talks about, okay, so there's something in the water in Hudson County.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Is anybody from Walton County, Georgia? Maybe. No, that's just me. Okay. Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. We got Kerry on today. This is Mission Mentor, where we do our little interview with one of our executive leaders here at EPM. Today is Kerry Dam Cole. I call her KDC or Kerry Dam Cole because every time she comes in, she gets shit done. Love Kerry. Like I said, we've had a secret love affair for the last year. We're just, if you see us together, we're probably hugging. And I love you, Kerry. So I'm so glad to get to talk to you. We're going to get started now as people trickle in. I know 30 minutes is not a long time to hear about everything that is Kerry Cole, but we're going to get started. How long have you been? So just answer every single one of my questions as honest as possible, and then answer all the questions in the chat and don't lie. And just kidding. My first question is, where are you from?
Or am I
Kerry?
tied up like to a lie detector right now?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
gonna know.
Okay.
How
All
do
right,
you really
bring it.
feel about
Let's
me,
go.
Kerry? This,
Let's go.
because I'm gonna propose to you at the end. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat. We want to know, direct your questions to Kerry. My very first question is how long have you been at EPM? What all have you done here? And what are some of the things you've seen? Those are 3 questions. I'll start there.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful question to start out with. So I've been here almost 8.5 years. When I first joined EPM, I think we were actually still Equity Loans or something at that time. So I've seen several name changes throughout the years. When I first joined, I came in as a retail loan officer, and I worked for one of our branch offices. And after about 6 months of doing the loan origination, we decided that we were going to start a wholesale division. Phil Mancuso asked me if I would take the lead on that and figure out wholesale. And at that time, I didn't know anything about wholesale. I didn't have a broker base. I didn't have any broker contacts. And honestly, as a company, we really didn't know anything about wholesale. So we have been building over, the last 8 years or so, building up, and it's been very, very exciting. And yeah.
So for someone like me, right, I don't actually work in the loan parts of our company. I work with the people. I work with us, right? They get to have fun with me. I like to count myself as like the fun uncle of EPM. But for you, right, I don't really know a lot about wholesale. So can you just give us like a crash course in what does that mean for us who don't necessarily know that, we have the retail side, which is Carpatello. We got the wholesale side. That's kind of you. What does that mean?
So what that means is we work with mortgage brokers throughout the country. The mortgage brokers work directly with their borrowers. So the broker is choosing to do business with EPM. So it's really a great thing when they partner with us and work with us, bring their loans to us to get, through the loan process, through processing it, underwriting it, funding it. We take care of all of that for the brokers.
Okay, cool. So this is like Alex Restrepo is on your team, right? Because Alex is always talking to brokers.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some questions right here. Fraser asked the hard-hitting question right out the gate. Why do you like Fraser more than Logan? So.
Wow, I'm passing.
I plead the fifth. All right. What is the most fulfilling aspect of your job? And is it talking to me?
Yes, number 1 on the list is talking to Blaine. It does brighten up my day. I mean, you're in the room, Blaine. The room is bright. It's beautiful. But I think for me, the most rewarding aspect is helping others, right? And, now that I'm in this leadership position, I not only, help brokers, help others, but then also helping, and mentoring other people, whether they are on my team, whether, it's someone else within the organization, just asking questions. And I just really like helping other people.
Yeah. What's your like approach to mentorship? And if I wanted to be mentored by you, could I?
You could. Of course, I would always love to mentor you. I would love to mentor you, Blaine. My approach is, really just trying to, listen to people, really being an active listener has helped me a lot. Just understanding, because mentorship, and it's not a one size fits all, because everybody's different, everybody's unique. You want to honor, where that person is, where they want to go. Sometimes they think they might want to go here, but really, like, you're seeing them in a different light, and you're able to help them and guide them to where they want to go.
That's awesome. What was the biggest piece of advice that you've been given? So I know you said listening. I recently talked to Eddie about it. He said like the biggest mistake leaders make is not really listening. And I actually have I've come to you, right? And I've been like, hey, Kerry, I need to like give you my emotions. And the way you listen is very active. You're like, and I love it. So it's almost like intimidating a little bit because you're like listening. And
that's
like,
Hudson County.
and I'm like, okay, I love it. Like, I know you care. But, when you started out, what was some of the biggest pieces of advice that you give so that you could be the leader that you are today?
You know what, when I first became a loan originator, one of my first sales managers, what he said to me was, Kerry, this is the bluest white collar job you will ever have. Meaning, like, if you work hard, the harder you work, the more calls you make, the more contacts you make, the more applications you bring in, you're going to be more successful. So I think that is really the crucial element for me, that is, very important, having that hard, work ethic, being willing to work hard, and not just to be, mediocre either, right?
Yeah.
Owning whatever's coming to you, going the extra mile, really makes a difference.
I love to hear that they're working hard. It makes me like want to go home and sleep though a little bit, but of course I'm kidding, because you don't get to be where you are. You don't get to be carried down coal without that work. We said something earlier. You said something to me about confidence earlier, right? And I think because what it was like.
So you had asked me like what I had wish I had learned earlier in my career.
Right. Yeah.
And I think this is, something for everybody. For me, I wish I was a little bit more confident in myself earlier on in my career, because I think most of the time for people, how they see themselves versus the way the world sees them is totally two different things. And I think when you're confident and you can walk confidently and you know your stuff, people look at you differently, but you also look at yourself differently, and you just bring it in a different way. So my younger self, when I was in my 20s, just, getting into the business, I would say, I wish I was more confident in myself and my skill set.
Yeah, I have the same kind of, that's why I wanted you to say, because for me it's the same. I wish I could have been more confident in my early years. But it's a path, right? It is what it is.
Yeah,
And here
it's a journey. It's an adventure.
Journey. Yeah. Do you know what your top 5 Clifton strengths are off the top of your head?
Well, they're mostly blue, mostly relator strengths. That's really, where my strengths are, relating to people, being empathetic, listening to people, understanding how to pull a team together. Some of my top strengths.
So your top strengths. And how do you lean into them for your role? This is a question from Logan Judah. You may know him.
Ooh. Yes, Logan knows these strengths very well himself. But I think it's important, and we talked about it a little bit, being a good listener, being an active listener. And sometimes it doesn't mean, like you can agree with everybody all the time. It doesn't mean that, their idea is going to be implemented tomorrow. But I think people just generally, need to feel like they're heard, and that you're honoring them with your time. Active listening is not, looking out the window, typing an email and having a conversation. That's what it's not. So when you could take a few minutes to really be engaged with somebody, really try to hear somebody, and even repeat back to them, like, this is, if I'm hearing you correctly, this is what what you're saying, it goes a tremendous way.
So you've been in the Janine class then, right? Janine,
yeah.
You're like, you repeat back. So what I'm hearing you say, Kerry, is that to be a great leader is you need to listen, actively repeat back.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? It's not just Janine that says that. We're also on the executive team. We're also involved right now in a foundational leadership course. And that was another, that was one of the segments of, something that's a skill set that's really important. And sometimes it's hard, right? We're all busy. We're having 1,000 emails fly in. You're getting people calling you, even as we're sitting here, I see like the Teams meeting, like blowing up, and my phone over here is buzzing. So we get busy, but, there are times where it is important for you just to take that break and really engage with who you are speaking with. Yes. Right.
Perfect. What was the most advantageous moment in your career? What has been the most advantageous moment in your career? This is from Christy Rojas.
I don't know if there's one moment that I would look to, but just as like a series of just saying yes and trying something new and not being afraid to take on a new opportunity. When I started in this career back in 1999, I was a mortgage loan processor. And I did that all the way through 2005. And I was really good at that job. And then in 2005, I was making a personal move. I was moving from New Jersey to New York. And I went in actually to quit. I told my bosses, I'm going to quit. I can't work for you anymore, because working remote really wasn't a thing at that time, especially for a mortgage processor. And they said, no, you're not going to quit. You're going to become a loan originator, and you're going to work from home. And I was like, okay. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to, do this for about 3 months. I'll keep my benefits for 3 months and then kick me out. I'm really not a salesperson. Like, that's just not who I am. And, I tried it, and instantly, like, I did really well with it. and it was, what I built on, from being a processor to go over to loan originator. And then, when Phil, came to me and said, Kerry, we're going to start a wholesale division here at EPM. We want you to be the first account executive. And I was like, okay, I have no idea, but, I'll give it a shot and see what's going to happen. And over time, being able to use those previous skills of processing and loan originating, it really flowed into this position. And then now, even saying yes to Eddie, to move into leadership. Those are all opportunities. So I don't think there was one moment, but I think it's, saying yes to opportunities when they come up, even if you think you can't do it.
Yeah, it's like say yes, get the believe in yourself.
Yeah.
There's so many questions here. What is it like being a remote employee? How do you do work-life balance there, especially being in leadership? Like, how do you make time for your family and and work?
I don't think it's so much of a balance. I think it's more of harmony, right? Because balance to me says 50-50. Like, I'm going to devote 8 hours a day to work, 8 hours. It's just not realistic. I do have a really, really strong support system with my husband. Jason is just an amazing person. And, he definitely helps me, without him and being so strong at the home front things that need to be done, I wouldn't be able to excel in my role here. The kids are super involved in so many different things. Basketball, football season just got finished, dance, musicals. There's a lot happening, and, he takes care of all that. So that definitely helps me. But, working from home is not for everybody. When you're working from home, some people are like, oh, you're working from home, that's easy. No, not really. I mean, you have to still work. You have to show up. You have to be prepared to work every day.
Someone just sent me a direct message. I'm not going to say who, just in case it was meant to be private, but I just want to read. It says, this quote, "It is not how someone treats you, it's how they make you feel," epitomizes Kerry's leadership style. And I always feel validated and heard. And that makes me want to go the extra mile for our team. Thank you, Kerry. So I don't know if so that's really, I just wanted to share that with you because that's a really great moment. But sorry to cut you off about your remote. That one just came through and it just feels right to share. So I think one of the interesting things to me is that I don't have to work with you directly, right? So since I started working with EPM, me and you have been able to have a friendly relationship with one another where we can, you don't have to boss me around, you don't have to lead me, and we can just kind of be friends. So I like to know about Kerry behind the closed door, like who is Kerry when she logs off, like what is Kerry like? One of the things that I love about you is you are you love being in nature.
I do.
You called yourself a self-professed hippie, right?
In a prior life. I do love nature. I find a lot of peace in nature. I know when, things are hitting the fan, it's the mortgage business. Stuff's always intense. Everything's, firing off fast. I enjoy, going for walks in the woods in particular. I find a lot of peace there. It helps me, that's one of the mindfulness practices that I do to reset me, to recenter me. And, sometimes it's only 15 minutes, but it just, kind of clears the head, allows you to take a moment. Sometimes in the intensity of a workday, people get emotional or you want to make an emotional reaction. And really, it's probably not going to show you in the best light. But if you pause, kind of think through it, clear your head, step away, you'll probably get to a better solution. One of the things that one of my mentors said to me was, whenever you're in a difficult situation, ask yourself, what would you tell your daughter to do? What would you tell your husband to do if they were in this situation? And usually you can get a much clearer answer than that emotional reaction that sometimes we can have.
I think that might be hard for some people, but that's a great way to approach people in general. I always approach people like, okay, if this was my best friend, how would I try to treat everybody like they're my best friend so that I can always so that's really beautiful. Because I was going to ask you your daughter, because you have 2 kids, right?
Yes, Tyler and Cassidy.
And what advice would you give your daughter if she was going to start? Now your daughter's she's she's in theater, she does dance, she's very sport, But if she was going to come to you and say, Mom, I think I want to go down the path that you went down in mortgage, what advice would you give to her?
I would, encourage her to work hard. I would encourage her to be confident. One of the things that I take from her, actually, she's only 13, and I admire so much. She is a confident young lady. She can get up on stage, dance competitively, sit there and be judged by others, take it all in and do better the next time. And that, I mean, is just like tremendous. Like, she teaches me.
That's beautiful. Angie wants to know, I love Angie. Shout out to Angie Scribner. Take a bit, talk a bit about women in mortgage, especially in leadership roles. Where we were, where we are, where we going, how can we increase seats at the table for women?
That's a really great, topic. I think right now there's not a better time for women, in the mortgage industry. I've been doing the mortgage industry since 1999.
You just want to keep dropping that in there, right? It's like,
I know, a long time. But I mean, I never had a woman manager. I never saw women in an executive position. I never saw that because it didn't exist. Maybe there was one or two, but they weren't in my ecosystem. They just weren't there. And I think there's been some great leadership, women leadership in the industry. Christine Beckwith is amazing. Laura Brandeo, I admire her tremendously. I'm grateful for them and what they're doing. And it's just an awareness, over time, we'll see more women in leadership positions. We'll see more women at the executive table. It's something that'll take time, but I feel like there's an awareness about it. I think that, emotional intelligence, which women, tend to, have a little bit more of that sometimes. Some women, some men have more of it than women, but that is becoming such a hot topic in leadership to begin with, not in just our industry, but all industries across the board. So I think, right now, being a woman in this industry, it's just a great time. We have, women with vision, different things, the Women's Mortgage Network. And I would encourage, any of the women on the call to get involved in those networks, because it really does strengthen you. I find it, wonderful that, like, I could call, some people, within those groups that have very high ranking positions and, get their feedback and get their take on it. And, it's a really, really unique thing.
I love that. Allie Cothran, she asked, what has been the most rewarding experience working in wholesale?
I have many rewarding experiences working in wholesale, but one of them that I really, really do treasure and love is we have a broker that they were just starting out last year. They didn't know anything. I mean, to be honest, they didn't really know much about taking an application or getting anything in our system correctly. And last year, in 2020, we were so busy and so many things were happening, and now to watch them grow and evolve, they were barely doing, they did 30 loans their first year. Now they're doing like 50 loans a month. Now they're adding an office in Texas. And I love it because I feel like I help them, that I have added value for them and that I'm helping them grow. And it's really exciting to see that, especially because, home ownership is very, very important. Right. There's so many things that go along with home ownership, for people and society that, it's weird, the statistics that are tied to it. Like, there's less cases of domestic violence. There's this, there's that. And it's like all because of home ownership. And it's pretty powerful to be involved in the industry doing this.
That's so wonderful. Kerry, you make me feel so good. My heart is just like exuding love for you. What is your secret to success? Besides working hard, what is your secret to success? And listening. I'm cutting all your answers out.
Great. I think you have to be honest with yourself, being willing to pull up a mirror in front of yourself and really, look at things, when a conflict arises, why is that happening? Is it because, the other person, or is it because your perception or the way you're approaching something? It's because you're the way you're coming at it. It's the conflict's really within you, not necessarily with the other person. So I think the willingness to really look at yourself and see yourself for who you are, and that's hard, right? It's hard. It's hard to do that. But I think it's important.
I was actually told that this week, that it was like, hey, if you got an issue with somebody, that issue is actually on you and it's your responsibility to kind of let go of it. It's your responsibility to own that. It's your responsibility to reflect on that. That's beautiful. That is hard to do, to sit back and kind of be like, this is my truth. This is my honest thing, especially, when you get in the habit of doing it, it gets easier, but still sometimes it's like, Oh, I hurt my feelings. I hurt my own feelings.
We're emotional beings. We're humans, right? So we all have emotions.
I'm going to say, Jamie asked, what advice would you have people starting out in the career? But I'm just going to repeat, that's listen, work hard. What are you most proud of about your career? 1999 to 2021. It's a long time in mortgage, right? What are you most proud of?
I think just the way it has evolved for me. I've never, done just one thing. And also just the way that each piece that I have ever taken a part in, it has always built on to the next piece and made me stronger and better suited for that next, opportunity.
Would you say that you've mastered separating your emotion from your professionalism?
Sometimes I can be good at it, and other days, I do have to take that walk out in nature and clear my head, because we are humans, we are emotional beings.
I'm going to start throwing it out. We're like 2:55, so I like to keep
this
it
went fast. You told me it was.
I told you. Kerry and I had a call before this to kind of go over what we wanted to talk about, and I told her it was going to go by faster than she thought. What one word would you say defines you? That's from Julian. That's a good question.
Badass.
Oh yeah, good one. Badass. See, I would say that's where I get Kerry Damn Cole from. Logan asked, where do you see wholesale going in the next 2-3 years?
I just see the continued growth. We have so much momentum now. I think a lot of things are changing in the marketplace right now, which is going to create additional opportunities for EPM. I think we will be one of the largest wholesale lenders out there. We have a lot going for us.
The pictures from one of the recent broker events that we did, I think was the Vegas event. Was it AIM? Is that broker or is that AIM? The AIM booth alone was so phenomenal to me. It was like so next level. I was like, wow, we really are going. I could imagine someone like you or like Callan or who's been here, right? That it's like this beautiful growth and this like we are unstoppable, we're going to keep going.
I mean, to your point, right? Fraser and his team did an amazing job with the marketing and the booth. And even if you looked at the evolution of our booths for events, like that shows like the momentum and what we're doing and what we're building, and people are attracted to us and wondering what's going on with EPM. And that's a very, very good thing.
It's awesome. People come in and say, I heard about you. It's really weird for, I'm sure it's weird for y'all to be like, hey, we already know who you are. And you're like, whoa. Some more questions really quick. Logan is all over the dominating this chat, it seems like. But Greg asks, where do you see Logan going in the next 2 days?
Oh, I'm not sure. Not sure where he's going to be in the next 2 days. He's probably got something amazingly fun planned.
No, he's going to be in the bathroom. Come on. To the Metallica concert, Yesenia answered for him. Okay, moving on. Danae asked,
really, Logan? We need to talk.
Metallica. Yeah, they're coming to the not California. Danae asks, what's your biggest pet peeve?
If I had a pet peeve, it's just seeing when people don't, take accountability for themselves. Sometimes people walk through life thinking, everybody's against me and they try to play a victim role. And I don't like that, right? Phil actually said something in our executive meeting on Monday that really kind of stuck with me, that it was along the lines of, nothing is a given, like everything is earned, right? Yeah. So I think when you look at life like that, it's, you're hustling, you're doing the right things, you don't expect anything. And I just think it gives you a better outlook.
That takes some emotional intelligence, as you said. Okay, we got a few more minutes here. I don't want to hold anybody over, but Kevin Bolden asks, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from your family that has helped evolve your success at EPM?
Ooh, that's probably where the hard work and hustle comes from. I am one of 7 children, which is, amazing. Growing up, my mom would, take care of all the kids during the day, and then she would go and bartend at night. My mom just recently retired in the last few years, but she bartended over 40 something years. She was like 26 years at one bar, like where she retired from. And that's a lot of like dealing with a lot of nonsense, right? Like when you're a bartender. But she's always, she always took care of family first. And then, she would go to work at night to help take care of us.
Jennifer asks if you could go back and give yourself advice at the beginning of the career, what would it be? And that is confidence.
Yes.
Give
Be
yourself
more
confidence.
confident in yourself. Yes.
We answered that one. And then last but not least, so we got 3 minutes left. I just want to know, Kerry, what inspires you? What brings you life?
Just knowing that I can make a difference. I do feel that that's something that each and every one of us, has empowered within us is to make a difference. And I'm not talking about, I don't expect that I'm going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, but you know what? Like, I could just, say something nice to you, Blaine, and just make your day just a little bit better, right? There's a lot of shit that's going on in the world today, and everybody wants to hop on the negative and this and that. But just make a difference, even if it's a small difference, open up the door for somebody, just so many little things. Kindness just goes a very long way.
One of the things that you made my day with, it was back in March when we had the Broker Success Summit. And I had met you, I think, at the exchange. I hadn't obviously knew who you were, but the Broker Success Summit, you sat down in the middle of everything. You sat down, it was like in the middle of this hallway, you sat in this chair and you just said, tell me about you. What's your, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a beautiful moment because that was, a big event for you. And you just took this time to just stop everything and just sit there with me for like 10 minutes and just to talk about me. And that's when I knew that we were going to be married for 55 years. So here we are. No, but thank you. We need more time with you, Kerry. You're such a loving spirit. We love you so much. We may never know how much our smile can impact another person. That's what Christy said, and that's absolutely true.
Spot on. I agree with her 100%.
So any last words, Miss Kerry Cole, before we let you get back to your scheduled life?
This was fun. The time went by fast, and
I
really appreciated the conversation. Thank you so much.
I think we should just kind of do this more often, just, with you, we'll have to chat with Kerry Cole. Kerry,
okay.
You wouldn't be nervous. Yeah, you wouldn't get nervous. You are awesome. You were getting so much love in this chat. So just know that you were very loved by us here at EPM. Thank you for being you, Kerry. Thank you for doing this. And thank you all for joining. Next week, we'll be back. Kerry, love you. Have a great day. And everybody enjoy.
Thanks,
we'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.